So the Dallas Cowboys are bringing in Jayron Kearse. Thank you. Thank you. Let's talk about it. Boss Cowboy Sports, where your voice matter. Let's get it. So it just came out that the Dallas Cowboys are bringing in Jayron Kearse along with Malik, along with Devontae. I feel much better now because Jayron is somebody that Boss Cowboy Sports, he was actually in the first Boss Cowboy guide. And obviously that when he was in the original guide, that's something about somebody that I feel good about. So we go get right into his film. But before we do, well, I talk about it at the end where I talk about his background, why I think he would be a great candidate for the Dallas Cowboys. So let's just jump right into it. So the first thing when you're looking at Mr. Kearse is what you're going to see with him is he's a great tackler. At worst, he's a good tackler. And when you at worst a good tackler, he's a really good tackler. And there are times to where he could even become a game changer, especially when it comes to stopping the run. And you will see, and I'm starting to see what Dallas is doing. Their moves are starting to look as if they are definitely trying to gear up to stop the run. And here you can see he's targeted. This is a play action that was designed to get him with that tight end, and you can see he went around it, he read it, he's athletic, so he makes the play. I would give both safeties a stick on that play. But you could also see one thing that I would knock about him is occasionally he's late when it comes to read and run. It's hard to see it, but the tackles, they clearly showed that it was run with the way that they engaged. And that's one of the keys that you have to look for when you're playing safety or the edge with no threats. And it was clearly run, and he should have been there just a tad bit faster. It would allow him to bring a little bit more punishment. So that's one of the knocks that I see on him is when he's in a place to where he has to react. Sometimes his eyes can get a little bit bad. That was clear run. He was a little bit slow to get to it. So you could see that created a running lane. That they was able to get some good positive chunks on him. But that's the only knock on him. So when he learns his lessons and he starts playing by instinct, you see a totally different player. He becomes almost like a super box guy. So here we go again. So same play, but this time he learned his lesson. He reads run a lot faster, and he attacks, and he starts playing with his instincts, and he makes a lot of plays. And you're going to see this over and over. And you're going to see this almost every game where he's going to get in that backfield, more so because he started playing with instincts, and he read his cues right and faster. So you read, run, he diagnose, and he helps assist on that play with a great tackle. And you're going to see him do it over and over and over again. That's one of the highlights of his game is he's really good when you put him in a box, and he plays with great, not good, great instincts when he's in the box. It's almost if you're trying to design him as a chess piece, you really want to just try to design a defense that would let him play free, because when he's not diagnosing plays, when he's not trying to read and react and use his eyes, when he can just go, you see a tremendous football player and a guy that I would even call fearless. He gets in there and he almost looked like a safety linebacker. Like, he's one of the better box guys, and this wasn't his game, especially coming out of Clemson. He wasn't a true box guy, but he's a true football player, so he's made the adjustment. And here goes another play where he definitely didn't read the run, but he reacted so fast, he gets in there and he creates havoc. So the running backs, a lot of times when he really get going, he keeps the running backs from getting to go, or stopping them from going. Y'all know what I'm saying. But anyway, you can see he's better when he's just playing fast and playing with instinct. See, that was too fast to actually read run, so you could tell it was designed for him to go attack. And whenever he does, he makes good plays. Here's another play you could tell where they're audibling out, and you likely he knew it because he attacks like very early, reads it, gets around a running back and makes the quarterback pay. I mean, he's very, 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 very good in the box. That's why I say at worst, he's a good tackler. There are times to where he becomes super outstanding and literally almost crazy. He gets in that box and he's literally fearless over and over. You can turn on any game and you go see him at some point of the game terrorizing in the backfield. Straight up just being a pure terrorist in the backfield. So he's somebody to be excited about. Like he doesn't have the name. A lot of people don't know who he is, but he's a very, very good football player. And this is definitely, if they sign him, a step in the right direction at stopping what was happening in 2020. And that was a nosebleed nonstop for the entire season. One thing I look about him now that we're looking at him in pass is I just got to just say it like it is. Sometimes I was looking at his hands, and you never want to see safeties trying to catch like this. That's body catching. You don't want to see that. You want to see hands catching. And sometimes you can see that with him, that he's not. You can see why he's likely playing, let's be honest, safety in his career, because you can see in this play that this is not natural hands in terms of catching, because to a good hands defensive back, this is a pure easy interception. He throws it right to him and he just tries to catch it with his body and his arms. Just wrong technique for catching the ball. So we watching him also in coverage right here, and you can see that he's very aggressive on the tight end, and they get a late flag. And I'm gonna tell you, looked at it from a different angle, it's just a bad call, because the coverage is actually good, the hips was actually good, the matchup on the tight end was actually good. He's tall and big, so it makes it hard on tight end. You can see it right here. He doesn't grab, he doesn't hold, he doesn't cuff. But one thing that you see is also, if you watch him closely, you start seeing where he might be the liability, and you can see the lack of closing speed. So he's matched up on the running back right now, and it looks like that's what he's assigned to. And that closing speed is honestly not the greatest. You just look at it and you can see it, especially when you've been watching a lot of film, and you can see safeties that close exceptionally well. This is not a good close, and you can really see a close against a running back streaming across the field. So that's not the best close. And so it makes me start to wonder, is he a major liability in coverage? I just didn't quite see it yet as I'm studying him. But as you can see, he will make you pay. Like that, yeah, tight end, you getting up like you crunk. Nah, let's be honest, you got smashed right there. Yeah, Kearse let you have it on the sideline, as he should. So you see him come out his break. I don't like that he had to speed up to make him pay right there, but he made him pay. I would really wanted him to be at that one speed the entire time. He turned it up, but you know, that's being critical, but at the same time, I would be if I want the best out of this guy. Same thing you'll see also in the run game. You'll also see in the pass game where his eyes can get him in trouble. It was clear separation on that, more so because of his eyes. So you'll see it better from this angle when you watch his face. Look at him looking back at the quarterback when the tight end gets into the top of his break. And when you looking back like that, that's going to cause more separation than athleticism. So I keep seeing a pattern of eyes with him, sometimes getting him in trouble. But I still love the fact, and you're going to always see, when I break down safety, you going to always see me look at them in open field tackles, and you going to see me find some film somewhere of them having to use courage. And this is him going head up with Cook and having a jarring match. That's what you want. That's exactly what you want. So, and over and over and over again, you're going to see him willing to take on the running backs. So that's why I said over and over and over again, this guy is a good tackler at worst. So in terms of improving the run game, I see what you're doing, Dallas. If you bring this guy in, this would be a good signing, and this would be somebody that would definitely, let's just be honest, move Donovan Wilson more into a single high position, because this guy's going to play in the box. And when you see him even, back there, he's strong. Like this tackle right here on this receiver, perfect gator roll tackle, and he injured him. It wasn't intentional. He just strong. Like he threw the man and twisted his leg. It's not intentional. It's just he's strong. Like he has brute strength, and he's so lucky Nelson just didn't drink his juice that day, because Nelson could have killed him right there. Nelson just, I guess, was being nice, and that's not like Nelson. But that's another subject. So let's just get into the breakdown of the All-22 of Jayron Kearse, and let's just kind of just talk about it. And the thing that I like about him is he's long, and you see that helping, especially when he's attacking in the backfield. He has low usage, and I said I was gonna get to that. What really happened to him is he was a really good player, drafted from Clemson, but sometimes you can be a good player where you're drafted into a deep room. He was drafted into the Minnesota Vikings. Come on now. When Anthony Harris back there with Smith, when would you ever see the field? So there's really very low tread on him, and that's why I put him in the Boss Cowboy Guide last year, because I knew he wasn't getting the normal developmental reps of a safety because he was in a deep room. So it's almost ask yourself, what would happen to a tight end in the last 10 years if they came in with Witten? It wouldn't even really matter how good you are. It was the guy that you was behind that was going to make you, because of his name and the love they had for him, you was going to sit your butt on the bench. That's what was happening with him. So really, when you look at him, he is really having his first year starting. So that's why you shouldn't be too technical on this guy, because he's just now getting his starting legs under him. So this will really be like him going into year 2, even though he's obviously very much so a veteran, but he's very young as well. So obviously we saw on the film the great run stopping instincts. That was obvious. He's a natural box safety, because that wasn't what he was doing in college, but when they called on him to do it, you could tell that he did it fearlessly. And I would just call him just a great football player. When you can go from being a single high when you was playing it in college, and then they call on you to play in the box and you look natural in the box, you're just a natural football player. And that's just how I see the guy. He's not pretty, but he's a natural football player. The cons. One of the cons that I didn't like is that he was targeted. That makes me say that somewhere he was beat, and I just didn't find it, because I kept seeing plays that was actually designed to try to take him out. It like the play action that we showed on the tight end, and then another Matt Ryan tried to target him, where it was designed to really target him deep. That tells me somewhere people are also seeing that lack of closing speed and that lack of game speed, and they're putting it in their game plans to try to get him, or likely maybe obviously because of all that great play we were seeing in the backfield, they thinking that he's subject to play action and they target him. So I'm gonna keep reviewing film, because somewhere he must have been a liability at some point, because almost every game that I saw, you could see a direct scheme where they was targeting him for a big play. So his eyes would also get him in trouble on the run game. We showed that. His eyes also got him in trouble on the pass game, and he's young. So young meaning that can be a problem in terms of his experience. But I mean, this is a very, 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 very good candidate for the Dallas Cowboys. I could see if they was to do this would be a step in the right direction in terms of major run stopping. I think they would need to work with him, especially on his hips, work on his coverage a little bit, definitely put him on a jug machine, work on those hands. You can't catch balls with your chest. You still got to use the proper mechanics of catching the ball, which increases your chances of the interception. A lot of people don't know how to catch, honestly, because their dads never worked with them when they was young. So he looks like he really needs to go back to school in terms of catching the ball better. But I will put him in a situation, if the Dallas Cowboys was to acquire him, he seems like the type of guy that you want to put him in situations to play off his instincts, because the film clearly showed over and over and over again that he's a much better player when you put him in a place to where he can just play fast. So if you like the content that you're getting, and you go get a lot more content with Boss Cowboy Sports, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and follow us, because we're on all the platforms, from the YouTube to the Facebook to the Instagram to the Twitter. You'll know where to find us. And remember, we're loyal, and we're going to tell it like it is on what we see. Some of these names not going to be big, but we're going to evaluate them anyway. If we like what we see, we're going to say it. If we don't, we're going to say it. But at the end of the day, you definitely know that we're being honest. Y'all stay up.